Good afternoon and welcome back to Victoria as we get set for the first of two semifinals here at the Canadian National U17 Championships from CARSA on the air this afternoon. And welcome again. My name is Ryan Zatmary. I will be your play-by-play here tonight as it is an all-Western battle here between Team Alberta and Team British Columbia. It's a rematch of a preliminary round match played back on Wednesday, a game which Team Alberta took 72-60 as Alberta ended up finishing second in the pool round, good enough for a bye through to the semifinals here in this matchup. British Columbia got here via a 67-63 win over New Brunswick in the quarterfinal match yesterday, an exciting game in which the British Columbians took the lead in the final minute and held off the team from New Brunswick. So they now get a rematch with their Western rivals from Alberta here this evening. Just getting the starting lineups out on the floor here this evening as the winner of this game will advance to the finals to be played right here at CARSA here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And it will be between Quebec and Ontario in the other matchup here this evening. Oh, pardon me, Saskatchewan. It was Saskatchewan who upended Ontario in another close quarterfinal matchup. So it will be Quebec and Saskatchewan in the 8:15 Pacific time game in the semis following this one here tonight. But right now it is a battle of Western supremacy here on the floor. It'll be British Columbia in the road blacks, Alberta in the home whites here this evening. Alberta coming in with a 2-1 record in competition in their first couple of games, a 72-60 victory over BC, 70-49 win over Ontario, and a 73-66 loss to Quebec, their lone loss to this point. For BC, it was that 67-63 win against New Brunswick, as we mentioned, and the 72-60 loss to Alberta, as well as a 68-60 win over Ontario. And Quebec, who ran the table in the first round, beat BC 80-55. His British Columbia team is stopped on their first set on the offensive end, and that gives Alberta their first chance with the ball here. Three-pointer taken on the outside is missed by Yvonne Ejim. And BC gets the ball back unscathed, still scoreless, just under a minute in here. There's a three put up by Team BC. That was Jenna Griffin. And there's going to be a shot clock violation prior to that putback being put up. So some good defense applied there by Team Alberta. And it remains scoreless here now. 8:53 to go in this first quarter. It's been an exciting week of basketball here at the University of Victoria campus. Being able to utilize both the new CARSA facility here as well as the legendary old McKinnon Gym has been brought back into play here this week. They've been switching the gyms day by day. It's been U15 in one gym one day and U17 in the other. Obviously, CARSA has been the crown jewel of what's new here at UVic over the past few seasons, and it's great to allow Basketball Canada the opportunity to come for the first time in these tournaments for the U15, U17 Women's National Championships to be played here. And of course, the home squad, BC, would love to represent in the finals tomorrow, but it's a tall task to go through their rivals from Alberta. As we mentioned, Alberta with the better of Team BC in their matchup on Wednesday. There's a foul that will send BC back to line. It's an early second foul on the Albertans. Many of these girls have played previously for their provinces. Team BC actually winning the U15 tournament last year out in Fredericton. Both Deja Lee and Marika Duralia for Team British Columbia, all-stars in that tournament, return on this year's squad for the U17 version. One of two made it the line for BC, so they now lead at 1-0. That's a nice take to the hole there by Thea Demong, but she's unable to finish, almost able to retain possession off of that pass by BC, by Tara Walik, but it will stay BC ball. 6 seconds to get it across the half-court line. Errant pass for a turnover, and it will give the ball back to the Albertans, still looking for their first hoop of the game. No field goals in the first 2 minutes and 9 seconds thus far for either squad. Strong take, but unable to finish on the initial attempt. Follow there will send Alberta to the line for the first time. That was the second rebound on this sequence. And that'll be Hannah Riddick heading to the line for Alberta. BC gets the rebound. Riddick misses both foul shots. Still looking for the first field goal of this game. And it won't be found there. And team's coming out a little sloppy in the early goings here today. It's the first game of the day for both teams. Obviously still trying to feel each other out, but as we said, this is the second time they've played in the last 48 hours. 72-60 victory for Alberta over BC on Wednesday. Shot is missed by Marika Duralia. And another miss in the opposite direction, but trying to follow her own miss was Demong. We're going to say stepped out of bounds on the far sideline. So with 6:59 to go, we continue just a 1-0 scoreline for British Columbia. And a double dribble at the top. So the sloppiness continues in the early going for these squads. See if they can settle in here now as we get closer to the midway point of this first quarter. There's a hold foul. The basket won't count, so we still remain without a field goal to this point. We'll have our first sub into the game for BC. It's in the form of Tia Best for British Columbia. A little bit too much on that take by Cameron Declerk. And now BC gets it back. And again, another turnover. Mong misses the long shot. And stepping out before she can retain it for Alberta is number 11, Yvonne Ejim. So, and almost 4 minutes in, still no field goals. The two number 22s playing down there, Mimi Seguin and Jess Clark. Clark had a huge game and they lost to Alberta on Wednesday. 26 points on 11 of 15 shooting from the floor. As we will have our first timeout called. She struggled in a couple of the other games this week, but let's see if she can match what she was able to put up in that matchup on Wednesday. She was the only British Columbia player in double figures in that game, as Alberta was able to get 27 out of Yvonne Ejim and 17 out of Demong. So we will see who comes up stronger here tonight with a berth on the finals tomorrow here at 6 p.m. Pacific time on the line. We'll take a quick break. Be right back in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, Canada Basketball invites all fans to visit the merchandise area. Basketball apparel, tournament shirts, and more. Merchandise area table is located in the RPC.
Service we're using here? What do you know what the streaming service is if I want to shout it? SportsCanada.TV. We do SportsCanada. Ryan Zammer back with you here on SportsCanada.TV as we're back at Carsa here at the University of Victoria. Semi-final game for the U17 Canada Women's Nationals 2019 version. It's Team Alberta versus Team BC. We're still without a field goal here, almost 4.5 minutes in. Will we break that here? Now we will, as a 3 for BC is Tara Wallach. And she gives BC an early 4-0 lead. Let's see if Alberta can respond, but no, instead we'll see a turnover. BC looking to go coast to coast, but that's some big D there, as Alberta able to prevent a second straight hoop there, as that rejection was from number 11, Yvonne Ejim. She was the one who had 27 points for them on Wednesday against BC, and she stops Taya Best from getting to the lane, and then following that up is a 5-second count on the baseline. So again, both these teams struggling on the offensive end in the first quarter here, as Alberta's nearly gone in half a quarter without any points whatsoever. Let's see if they can finally break that streak on this possession. Nope, as another turnover there. Gives the ball back to BC as they work with a 4-point lead. Work around the top, and again trying to get it in to Clark. You mentioned she led the squad on Wednesday with 26. Losing the ball there. And still unable to get the first hoop there for Alberta is Ejim. It seems to be a bit of a lid on that rim thus far for Team Alberta. And a turnover and then a foul in transition. 4:26 left in this first quarter. And BC's still pitching a shutout, 4-0 over Team Alberta. We'll see if some of these adjustments can start to lead to some success offensively for these two teams. Just one field goal between both squads here in 5+ minutes. And another missed baseline there. And Alberta, who put up numbers in their first 3 games of competition this week, has not had it easy here in this going. And you have to give credit to British Columbia's defense in some situations, but there have been a couple of very makeable shots, layup varieties that Alberta just has not been able to do, but it's been their defense that's kept them in there. As a turnover, getting the ball up the floor for BC will give them a chance, and there's another foul, and that'll send Alberta back to the line as Ejim will look to still secure their first points almost 6 full minutes into this first quarter. And that foul was on Clark, just her first. 4th team foul against British Columbia, though, and there is the first point of the game for Team Alberta. As Ejim gets her first point for her team. foul on the take to the hole there for BC. It was Best who was fouled. Alberta coaching staff didn't like that call, but they'll have to deal with it as we'll see a sub into the game for both teams. 3:49 left in the first quarter. It's British Columbia 4, Alberta 1. First of two semifinals here from Carsa tonight in the U17 Women's National Championships. It'll be Quebec and Saskatchewan on deck here this evening. A couple of great quarterfinal games. There's two 4-point games between Saskatchewan and Ontario and British Columbia and New Brunswick yesterday. So Team Saskatchewan and Team BC advancing to take on Quebec and Alberta respectively. Travel on the baseline is still Alberta with just the one free throw made so far. As they continue to try and find their form, but BC hasn't really been able to take advantage of that as it remains just a 4-1 game. These two teams very much struggling offensively in the first few minutes of this basketball game. Full court press being applied here by Team Alberta, and it seems to work very well. BC's going to have to get it across here. And yeah, they're going to call an 8-second violation there as the shot clock's down to 15 and the ball never crossed half, so good call there by the officials. And seeing 3-man crews for the U17 tournament here this week. It's been 2-man over at the U15 side of the draw, but I'm not sure if that's changing today and tomorrow into the medal round here. And still unable to find the first made shot of the game there for Alberta, but they will tie up the ball and have possession via the arrow and sub into the game here for Alberta. Number 10, Sage Gibb, is in. Jim with it. That's the recently checked in Gibb. Puts up a floater. No good, as that rim has not been friendly to the Albertans thus far here this evening. BC gets it across half. Trying to work it down low. Not able to get that shot to go. Remains 4-1. Got to figure these two teams will bust out of these slumps at some point. And there's a good start now for Alberta as one of their stars, Ejim, able to get the first official field goal of the night. Got all 3 points for her squad thus far. Just one free throw and one three-pointer so far for BC as well. Griffin with it at the top, swings it over. Nice take and finish to the hole there by Deja Lee. Will make it a 6-3 BC game, so finally a pair of field goals on these last two sets. Extraordinarily low scoreline through 8 minutes thus far, just a 6-3 game. Nice cut to the hole, and again, just unable to finish underneath there, and then a foul in transition, almost the coach's worst nightmare, as they call it, a missed layup followed by a foul 90 feet from the opposing basket. And miss, and I believe the foul was both on Nancy Palmer. And that's the fourth team foul against Alberta, both teams with 4 now, so we'll see bonus shots the rest of the way on any defensive fouls in the final minute 34 of this quarter. BC's going to have to get this across, and again, a little slow, as the one thing Alberta has had success with in this first half has been this full court press. It's provided a few turnovers for them. They just have not been able to capitalize offensively. And basically the same can be said for BC. They've been able to prevent Alberta from getting the points on the board, but they haven't taken advantage of their own opportunities offensively and remain deadlocked in a very, very low-scoring first quarter thus far. Strong take, but good defense there by BC. And now another foul under the hoop, and this one will lead to shots for BC, as they will head all the way to the other side with 1 minute and 13 seconds left in this first quarter of play. Abigail Becker makes both shots at the line, makes it an 8-3 game. BC continues to lead it in the early going, stretching their lead to their largest at 5. Another miss for Alberta. Just the one field goal so far in this first quarter, but really only BC has just 2 themselves. Unheardedly low-scoring first quarter with a lot of sloppy play. Both teams would really like to change that as this game moves along into the second. BC will get it back here. British Columbia with it in the offensive side. Long 3 put up, and that'll drop. Long shot made there by Jenna Griffin and extends BC's lead to 11-3, so they do indeed get to double figures in this first quarter. It was hard to see for a long time, and then back the other way. Alberta's continued struggles on offense. I've seen Cameron Declercq there miss everything on that 3-point attempt, and now BC can hold it for one final shot to end this first quarter. Shot clock is dead, but they got to get it across half, just do. Worked around the top. Griffin thought about the long 3 again, but they'll work it around instead. And that 3 will also fall short. And almost a microcosm of this first quarter. Just 4 field goals altogether, 3 of them coming for the host BC. And they lead it in an extraordinarily low-scoring 11-3 scoreline after 1 quarter of play, as both of these teams would really like to find the offense somewhere in their repertoire moving forward in this one. We'll take a break on SportsCanada.TV. We'll be back with the second quarter of action in the U17 women's national semifinal game between BC and Alberta in just a minute.
Canada Basketball is on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Follow Canada Basketball and join the conversation using hashtag #, whichever term you prefer, Nationals 2019. Share your basketball stories, pictures, and more.
Ryan Zamary back with you here on SportsCanada.TV, as we are just about set for the second quarter of action in semifinal number 1 from the U17 Women's National Championships here from UVics Carsa. It's British Columbia leading Alberta 11-3. Both teams struggling mightily offensively in that first quarter, but BC with the early 8-point lead and will have the ball to start the second. Nearly losing it inside, and finally, so they are able to retain it, and Looks like they'll get them a fresh shot clock as well. Another miss on the take. Second shot still no good as second quarter starts basically with as the first quarter was played with some very poor shooting. You see with a couple of threes in that first quarter. Other than that, a couple of layups, one by each team, is all we had offensively other than a few free throws. I'd say in about 15 years of officiating and 7 or 8 years of broadcasting here at UVic, I can't remember a scoreline that low after a 10-minute quarter of play. And there's a make inside there by Filipina Kaye. In an 11-5 game now for British Columbia. And one thing that Alberta had going for them in that first quarter was their full court press. They apply it here again. BC able to break it this time though. And they work it in the half court set here now. 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Point guard Griffin swings it around. Nice job getting it into Jess Clark, and she gets a hoop. And as I mentioned, Clark with a big game against Alberta on Wednesday, 26-point game. She struggled in a couple of the other games. I believe she went scoreless in the game against Quebec, but really found her rhythm in that game against Alberta. Let's see if she continues to have success against them as this game moves along here this evening. There will be a sub in the form of number 6, Neelam Ray for BC. And there's a turnover there by British Columbia. And Alberta will take advantage as Hannah Riddick with the hoops. So now Alberta with 2 hoops in the last 30 seconds. It's more than they had to that point in the entire game prior to that. That's the way things work sometimes. Let's see if they continue to apply pressure defensively here now as they try and work their way back from a 6-point deficit. Nice cut back door there by BC. Nothing doing on that shot, but Jess Clark retains possession momentarily. Another shot from the corner this time coming. Miss. And rebounded there by Alberta. And nice outside look there by Tia DeMong as they finally started to find their rhythm offensively. 3 straight possessions with hoops. 13-9. Clark double team, tries to swing it outside, but again, it's the Alberta defense wreaking havoc on BC right now. Foul against British Columbia on a hold. We'll go against number 6, Ray. Becker checks in for BC now as they still lead it, but only by 4 now. Baseline jumper won't go for Declercq, but it's rebounded by Alberta. And definitely a hand check at the top there. 2 hands firmly on the offensive player by Marika Duralia. DeMong with it at the top. Worked around. Nice take and finish there by Declercq. Back to just a 2-point game, 13-11, as Alberta has put up 8 points in the first 3+ minutes of this quarter after scoring just 3 in that entire first quarter. And again, was it a real miss by BC to not take advantage of Alberta's woeful shooting in that first quarter? But both teams did play really good defense. Second chance opportunities right now really hurting BC. Another 2 rebounds on this set. Give Alberta Some more looks, and that'll take advantage in the form of a Hannah Riddick baseline jumper, and we are all tied at 13. As this game has brought a lot more to the table offensively here in this second quarter. Easy with it at the top. In the hands of Griffin. She has it again here now. Step back three attempt. Rims out. And rebounded by Alberta. They'll try to take their first lead now on this possession. They trailed the entirety of this one, scoring just the one field goal in that first quarter, but they've really started to play better basketball in this second, especially on the offensive end. It was their defense that held them in the game in that first. Now it's their offense finding its form. And it's a tough break for BC as a failure to reset the shot clock prevents them from an opportunity with numbers down the floor. So BC will take it on the sidelines, and we'll have some subs into the game for both squads here now with 5:26 to go in this first half. Thanks again for joining us on SportsCanada.TV. Ryan Zatmary on the call for you here tonight. It's the U17 Women's Championships from Victoria, BC, the first of two semifinals here tonight, as it's an all-Western matchup between British Columbia and Alberta. On deck will be the number one team in the preliminary round, Quebec, taking on Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan with a hard-fought 69-65 win over Ontario to get into the semifinals last night. Jumper won't fall, but another offensive rebound, as that's really helped Alberta here in this second get back into this game. They continue to look for their first lead, and a beautiful take and finish there. As it's DeMong who's had a couple of hoops in this first half. And now a hand check as BC attempts to bring the ball up the floor. That'll get a fresh 24. And we'll see a timeout called on the floor as Alberta takes their first lead at 15-13. It's been a 10-0 run currently. We'll take a break, be back with you in a moment on SportsCanada.TV.
The 2019 National Championships brought to you in part by Bell. Visit Bell Store to check out our amazing selection of devices and in-depth items with no overly changes. It's a great time to get on Canada's best mobile. Bell.ca/network for details.
.444 left in the first half. It's a 15-13 lead for Alberta over BC here at the U17 Women's National Championships from University of Victoria's Center for Athletics, Recreations, and Special Abilities. Facility opened back in 2015. It's hosted the 2017 Youth Sports Women's National Championships, and now also with this tournament as well, not to mention the 2017 trading camp for the now champion Toronto Raptors. So in its short 4-year history, it's seen a lot of major events, and so pleased to be bringing you the U15 and U17 championships for the Women's Nationals here this week. It's been a treat to be able to be involved in this. There's a miss there for Alberta. We'll get the ball back for BC. Still loose, fighting for it, and eventually the Albertans come away with it, and they push the ball forward. Back out to the top, thinking about the shot on the outside is Ejim. Instead, she takes it to the hole and makes a 17-13 lead now for Alberta, who's currently on a 12-0 run since they trailed at 13-5 earlier on in this quarter. It was just an 11-3 scoreline after one quarter, but now BC with just 2 points in 6+ minutes in this second quarter A lot of that has had to do with the pressure of Alberta's defense, as well as BC's inability to get second chance opportunities, something that the Albertans have had a lot of here in this second quarter. Step back three there for BC as the shot clock expires, won't go, and yet again, Alberta preventing BC from achieving a rebound offensively. And the Albertans will take the ball and a 4-point lead back up the court. 3:20 left in this first half. It's moved along at a pretty good pace. Take to the hole and finish there, as it's been the combination of Ejim and DeMong who have really hurt BC in this second quarter, and that was a similar fate in the game back on Wednesday. It was 27 from Ejim and 17 from DeMong in that game, and they are picking up right where they left off the last time they faced off against BC in this tournament. Turnover there by Alberta will give the ball back to British Columbia, who are still looking for their first field goal in several minutes here. It was at about the 8-minute mark. They went up 13-5, and since then, Alberta has held court here. Ball worked around the outside. Not much room to work within the key as Alberta's playing a pretty effective press, or sorry, a zone here defensively. So between the press in the backcourt and the zone in the front court, British Columbia has really been stymied here in this quarter. Pretty much in the first half overall, as we said, despite the fact that they led it by 8 after 11 points, most of the time won't do you very good in a game after 10 minutes, but it was just the ineffectiveness of Alberta's shooting that allowed BC to take that lead into the second quarter. But now Alberta has woken up on the offensive side and now lead this game by 6 and have the ball. DeMong looks for a teammate, but nice defense there by BC as they steal it. It was Wallach who had it. Now looking to play with a teammate there, but another hand in the lane situation there for Alberta causes another turnover, but right back the other way. As that's a good call as that ball went off of Ejim's leg and will return to BC. So again, it's defense is the name of the game here in this first half. Both teams playing really good on the defensive side. It's been the offensive side of the ball that has left a little bit for both teams to improve on as this game will move along. Another turnover, but just able to retain it is BC. And now we're going to see a push-off call against British Columbia. So again, you can see the frustration of the strong defense taking part there. Minute 45 left in the first half. Alberta's up 6, 19-13. DeMong from the baseline can't hit the three, and it's rebounded by BC. We're going to see a tie-up, though, and Alberta will keep it via the possession arrow, so they'll have 14 seconds to shoot. Minute 33 left in the half. Take there by DeMong won't go, but she's fouled. Contact to the head. She'll head to the line. Clark picks up the foul on that one. I believe that's her second. It is, so she'll have to be careful to avoid a third foul and see a substitute going to the bench now. I assume that's for the aforementioned Clark to avoid that third foul before halftime. And DeMong makes both from the line, so she extends Alberta's lead to 8 points now. 21-13 is again BC. After Alberta put up just 3 in the first quarter, BC's been held to just 2 points in this second. But despite all that, it's still just an 8-point game because both teams have been so inept with the ball offensively in this first half. Ball went out, and Alberta protested it was off of BC. It was right in front of their bench, but to no avail. Baseline three, no good, but rebounded there by British Columbia, and we'll see a foul. So finally, BC will have a chance to add some points on the board from the line upcoming here, as it will be Deja Lee going to the line for the British Columbians. Over on the other side of the facility here at UVic, the U15 first semi of the night is going on, as it's a battle between Team Ontario and Team British Columbia, as both British Columbia teams currently in action in semis in their respective tournaments. It's a 28-19 lead for Ontario so far in that one, as BC makes 1 of 2 from the line here, but retain possession off of the miss. There's another steal in the paint there for Alberta, and they want to push it forward. Under a minute left in this first half, and again, able to have success there, and it'll go back the other way. So 9-point lead for Ontario over British Columbia on the other side. And again, you can check out all of the scores and stats throughout this tournament on basketball.ca. I'll have the link to both these tournaments as well as the men's tournaments taking place out in Fredericton. We're coast to coast with the Nationals this year, on each side of the country. And a tie-up underneath. This jump ball will favor BC, so with 37.5 seconds left, they'll keep the ball. There'll be just 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Just able to get it in. Outside. In the hands of Best. Now Wallach. Shot clock coming to an end, and they will not get that off as the shot clock expires. That was close, but I think it was still in her hand, so that's a tough break for British Columbia. The bank might have been open, but the mall was already closed on that one. Seven-point lead for Alberta. The shot clock's dead, but BC steals the ball back so they can now finally hold it for one final shot. They got to get it across it, though, again, and they just do. 6 seconds left here. Baseline jumper put up, and that'll fall. So just the second field goal of the quarter, just 5 points overall, as Marika Duralia's shot to end the first half will make it a 21-16 game at halftime. Score more likely to be seen after a quarter rather than a full half, as both teams really struggled to find their offensive games in that first half. Some very good pressure defensively was a part of that, but just some ineptitude on both sides offensively also had a part to play in that. But we'll see how they make some adjustments in the locker room at halftime. And it's a 5-point Alberta lead, 21-16 over Team BC in the first semifinal here tonight at the U17 National Championships from Carsa. We'll take a break here on SportsCanada.TV. We'll be back with the second half of action in just a few minutes. program back here on SportsCanada.TV. It's Ryan Zabmary with you as we're just about set for the second half of the first of two semifinals here at the U17 Women's National Championships from UVic's Carsa Gym. It's a 21-16 lead for Alberta as they have the ball to start the second half over their Western rivals from BC. It was a tale of two quarters there in the first 20 minutes as it was an 11-3 game after one, an extraordinarily low-scoring start as Alberta had just one field goal in the first half, as we'll see a three-point play to start the second. As it's Ejim with a make and a foul there, so she can put her team up by as many as 8 from the line here now. But after scoring just 3 points in that first quarter, they outscored BC 18-5 in the second, as they really started to find themselves as that first half went along, and BC has struggled mightily to both break Alberta's press at points as well as gain entry in on their zone pressure defensively. They have the ball thwarted away there, but they'll keep it with 17 on the shot clock. Down by 8, 24-16 here. Baseline three won't go. Attempted rebound is taken away there by Ejim. She had a 27-point game on Wednesday against BC in their 72-60 win in the preliminary round. She seems well on her way to double digits in both scoring and rebounding again here this evening. Shot clock running down here. Worked inside, no good. But a foul, oh, no, sorry. We'll have a shot clock violation before the ball goes up. So good defensive set there by BC, and they will get it back, still down by just 8. And on the other side of action here at UVic at McKinnon Gymnasium, the other first of two semifinals here tonight, it was a 28-19 lead for Ontario over BC. So both the U15 and U17 versions of the British Columbia teams have made it as far as the semis, but are in tough in the second half in their games respectively. The Quebec taking on Saskatchewan in the second of the two semis here in the U17 side. Following this one, as a three-pointer put up won't fall for Griffin, but it is kept by BC. Underneath to Clark, and as I mentioned, Jess Clark, who had a 26-point game against Alberta on Wednesday, looking to try and bring her team back in the second half, but nice transition play there by Alberta allows Tia DeMong, who also started to play really well in that second quarter for Team Alberta, puts them back up by 8. Griffin swings it back outside, again worked inside to Clark. And that's what Alberta, I think, by using the zone at points tonight, has tried to prevent happening, and is allowing the big girl Clark to get the ball inside. She's 6'3" in height, as that's larger than anyone Alberta has on their roster. Haley Fiddick, the closest at 6'2", so obviously using that zone as a way for them to try and prevent BC from getting it inside to their big, who had a field day against them on Wednesday, but they were unable to prevent Clark from getting a couple of hoops here on the last two possessions. But their big Ejim now will go to the line. Can't hit the first free throw. We're at a 6-point game currently with 7:49 left in the third quarter, with a spot in tomorrow night's championship game on the line. Ejim misses both, but they're going to say last touched off of BC, so Alberta will get another second chance, something they had plenty of in that second quarter, and they took advantage of it. Ejim can't get it to go. A lot of contact inside, and now they'll call her on the travel off of Clark inside. Clark picked up her second foul late in that second quarter, and she avoids picking up an early third to start this third, so lucky for her that she was not whistled there, as that might have changed the British Columbia coaching staff under Megan Pinsky's strategy on whether to leave her in with 3 fouls here early in the third, but that's not the case thus far. Foul called there against Alberta, with BC trailing it by 6. Griffin at the top, swings it around. It's in the hands of Wallach for a moment, now back to Griffin. Three-pointer put up there by Deja Lee will bounce off. Clark with the rebound, and she is fouled as Jess Clark has started to find her rhythm in this third quarter, and she's looking for another couple points as she heads to the line. Clark makes her first from the line, brings them back to a 5-point game. And she hits both, so Jess Clark with 6 points here in this third quarter. A 26-22 ball game. Initial take won't go for DeMong, but a nice follow there by Seguin. Puts them back up by 6 points, 28-22 Alberta. Three-pointer is up and good as Jenna Griffin gets her second tray of the night. And we're back to just a one-possession game, nearly stolen away in transition there by BC as well, as it's British Columbia after a very stagnant second quarter of shooting. Have already put up 9 points in the first 3.5 minutes, and then a defensive stop here, and they want to move the floor. Nice take all the way up and in, and we're back to just a 1-point ball game, as that was Tara Wallach, and it's a 28-27 game as the ebb and flow of this game here tonight continues to waver each quarter, it seems. And now, right now, it's BC with all the momentum and a steal and a chance to retake the lead. And a stop there on the attempted play by Deja Lee. But BC all of a sudden, as it looked like they were really struggling over the second quarter and even the first minute or two of this third, have found their rhythm and now have a chance to retake the lead for the first time in this half. As much as an 8-point advantage for both teams at different parts of this game. No double-digit lead, but a take there, almost able to get that circus shot to go, but instead it'll be foul shots coming for BC. And it'll be Wallach who goes to the line, the chance to either even or give her squad the lead. Wallach makes 1 of 2, so we're all even at 28. Alberta with the ball, 5:45 left in the third quarter. Thanks again for joining us on SportsCanada.TV. Near turnover there by Alberta, but they are able to keep possession. Now worked inside, nice move inside there, as a little space provided there by DeMong allows an easy shot for Mimi Seguin and puts Alberta back up by a deuce. Quality of offense in this second half far outweighing what they had in that first half of play. Hand in the lane there on the attempted pass inside to Clark. Back comes Alberta. Nearly gives it away, but they keep it and put up the three. No good. Another second chance. And make that a third, and now a foul called, as it will be foul shots coming for number 16, Hannah Riddick, for Team Alberta. Sub into the game for BC as Jess Clark, who had a good sequence a couple minutes ago, will take a breather. She'll be replaced by Abigail Becker. Becker, another sizable player on the height chart for BC. She actually is taller than even Clark at 6'4", so tallest player on either squad here. Checks in now for BC. 1 of 2 made at the line for Alberta. It's 31-28. BC's going to have to get it across here, and they just do before the 8-second count. Ball worked around the top. It's Wallach. Down to 8 seconds. Really good defensive sequence there for Alberta. Not much to work with there for the British Columbians. And another nice pass inside. We've seen some very nice facilitating by Thea Demong in this second half. Second assist in the last couple of plays, as it's back to a 5-point lead for Alberta after BC tied it from the free throw line about a minute and a half ago. 4:20 left in the third quarter. It's 33 Alberta, 28 for BC. Thea Best with it. And she is fouled as she tries to put it up, as Mimi Seguin, the guilty party there. And we'll see a couple of subs in for both teams. It'll be Danielle Nadeau in for Alberta and Madeline Council in for BC. We'll also see number 13, Haley Fiddick, check in for Alberta. She'll replace the now foul-troubled Mimi Seguin, who picked up her third there on that last play. Unable to hit the first shot from the line is Best. And she hits her second, though, so it's now a 33-29 game. Just over 4 left in this third quarter, as it's continued to roll along here tonight. First of 2 semifinals in the U17 side of the national championships. The winner will take on whoever takes the game later tonight between Quebec and Saskatchewan, and tomorrow night's national championship game at 6 p.m. Pacific time right here at Carsa. We will have the call for you again on that one on SportsCanada.TV. We'll have broadcast calls on both the U15 championship set for 3:45 Pacific time and the U17 championship at 6 tomorrow night. BC just able to retain possession there. They'll have just 2 seconds to cross the half-court line, and Clark now will check back in for Becker, as the offense wasn't able to do much without her on the fort there for a minute, so she gets a breather and now gets back into the low post. She's looking for it here now. Best has it for a moment and trying to get it inside to Clark, but it's lost. So now Alberta heads back the other way, up by 4. Nice work inside. Unable to finish, though, is Demong. Clark has it momentarily, has it stripped away, and they're going to say it went off her leg. So Alberta will take another second chance on the offensive side. I don't know if Clark ever retained position. It won't matter because the rule in FIBA is you only get 14 seconds when the ball is inherited in the front court. So whether it was an official change of possession or not, that's mute. Another take inside, won't go for Nadeau. So BC gets the ball back, down by 4. Clark takes it across the half-court line, gets it back out to the point guard, Griffin. Worked into the corner by BC. Now a nice take to the hole. Finish and one for Tara Wallach. She's had a couple of nice takes to the hole here tonight, and she is rewarded with both the hoop and the harm on that one, and we're back to a 2-point game. Want it? 3-point play is made by BC, so we're back to a 1-point game, 33-32. And a nice take to the hole there to put Alberta back up by 3, as that was made by number 10, Sage Gibb. 35-32. Coming down the stretch of this third quarter, we're 2 minutes and 25 seconds away from the final quarter of play. Both teams really finding their rhythm in this third. Nice, looked like a steal momentarily, but they're going to call a reach-in foul on Wallach there. So it'll be I believe it's the third team foul, or possibly the fourth now on BC. We'll wait to see. It's the fourth. Alberta already in the penalty, so any more fouls against BC, and that will send Alberta to the bonus line. This game has been a grind at points, but all of a sudden the teams have really started to play better basketball in this second half. And we got ourselves a good one. Just over a quarter left to play. Nice steal there. Again, it's Gibb with it, taking it the other way. Can't get the shot to go. Second chance opportunity, and we'll see a foul there against Clark. So Jess Clark will pick up, which I believe will be her third. And what will Megan Pinsky do here there now? Her best big picks up her third foul. $1:49 left to go. Do you risk her picking up her fourth before the end of the third quarter? Or you just fear what kind of happened the last time they pulled her from the court, which was the team struggled offensively. So looks as though at this point that they're going to let her remain in with those three personals. One of two made at the line by Riddick, and another ball lost out of bounds by BC. And Alberta has to be close to the double-digit offensive rebounds here tonight, something that's really helped them gain control offensively. Nice take and finish to the hole there by Thea DeMong. And now Alberta back up by 6, as they would love to increase this lead as much as they can to end this third quarter. It was just a point lead a minute ago when we saw a 3-point play by Wallach, but now a mini 5-0 run again by Alberta. Three-pointer there won't go for Griffin. She's had a couple of those fall tonight, but not that time. Just over a minute left. It's Gibb now. Takes it to the hole, kicks it back out. Three-point attempt by Declerc won't go. And Clark tries to retain it, but again, BC struggling on the defensive rebounding side of the game. And it's another second chance underneath the hoop for Alberta. They'll have 14 seconds to shoot. Just a $1:05 left in this third quarter. Shot clock running down. And offensive foul called on Alberta there. Push off. Or, pardon me, it'll be an illegal screen call there. So official noticed a bit too much moving. So BC gets it back down by 6. They'd love a hoop or two here to end this third quarter, bring this a little closer heading into the fourth. Three-pointer up, won't fall for Ray, but it'll be BC getting a second chance on this possession. 14 seconds left on the shot clock with 44.3 in the quarter. And so they'll play off the inbounds, but unable to make the shot there is BC. Alberta gets it back. It's Gibb on the wing, looking for a post player. Wanted to get it inside to Kaye, but Clark was defending her well. And Clark has to be careful not to pick up her fourth here down the stretch of the third quarter. And a ball last touched by Alberta. We'll give the ball back to BC with the shot clock dead. So with 18.2 seconds left, BC can choose to hold it for one final shot to end this third. Ball in the hands of the point guard, Jenna Griffin. Now, Naeem Ray. Shot clock, or game clock's about to end the third, but there's a shot right at the buzzer made by Deja Lee. A little bit of momentum for BC heading to the fourth quarter as she makes it a 4-point game, 38-34, as Alberta, who led it 21-16 at the halftime, now lead it by a score of 4 points. So BC won that quarter by 2 points, as it was a 38-34 game after 3 quarters of play here at Carsa. We'll take a break here on SportsCanada.TV. We'll be back with the final quarter of action in semifinal 1 of the U17 Women's National Basketball Championships from UVic in just a minute.
I watched the whole game.
Yeah, no.
Context. I watched a quarter.
Well, I haven't even I haven't been able to get the live stats. They're not live right now, so I'm kind of guessing for point totals and stuff like that. I'm doing that first quarter. I've never seen it. I was saying I've never had that. It's been actually high quality since then. Yeah, they've been really strong. Yeah, Ontario, BC. Yeah. Are you evaluating?
No. I just hear that these guys are right. Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, she's coming. Karen, yeah. Okay, we're getting Oh, good.
They got the sunny on the other side. So,
Good stuff. Ryan Zamaray back with you here on SportsCanada.TV as we're set for the final quarter here of semifinal 1 here tonight between BC and Alberta. Alberta leads Team BC 38-34, but a little bit of a run there by BC midway through that third quarter. Brought him back, and now it's Clark with another hoop, and we're back down to just a 2-point game, 38-36 to start this fourth quarter. An incredibly low first quarter of scoring, just an 11-3 lead for BC, but then Alberta found their form in the second quarter. BC scored just 5 points in the second, so it was a 21-16 lead at the half for Alberta, but all of a sudden both teams' offenses woke up in the third, and we look like we're in for a very good final 10 minutes of play here this evening. Clark gets her hand in the lane on that pass, and now they're able to get the ball back. Chance to either tie or take the lead on this possession. Looking for Clark inside. It's knocked away there by DeMong, so BC will keep possession. Just 13 seconds on the shot clock, though. A little bit too much on that pass for the cutting player for British Columbia, so they'll give it back. And it's a Alberta ball up by 2. But lost there by Team Alberta, so again, BC moving the ball forward. Wallach can't get the jumper off the glass to go. Ball still loose. And last touched there by BC number 12, Marika Duralia. She tried to save the ball before it went into the crowd. Alberta brings it across half. It's Declerc with it. She has it again, but it's stripped away there by BC. Chance to tie the game up. Unable to finish on the transition play was Duralia after she made a great job to steal it, but Alberta throws it away again in transition. So both teams, kind of like what we saw in the first half a little bit, struggling to hold on to the ball. We saw a lot of errant passes and turnovers in that first 20 minutes here tonight, and I think that's one of the reasons we'll see Dave Wacknick call a timeout for his Alberta squad. As we're about a minute and a half into this fourth quarter, it's still just a 2-point game, 38-36. We'll take a break on SportsCanada.TV. Be back in just a moment.
Canada Basketball has a coach education website called Game Plan. This website features insights from national team coaches and players, video library, drills, practice, plans, online NCCP registration, and much more. Register today at GamePlanBasketball.ca for a 5-year membership for only $49.95. Game Plan is your one-stop shop for all coaching tools and resources.
BC bringing the ball across half here. Still down by just 2 after the timeout. Long 2 put up there, can't fall. Nice rebound though by British Columbia. Good effort there to save possession, but the shot clock running down. Clark trying to get it off right at the death of the shot clock, but they'll say she wasn't able to get that out of her hands, and the ball didn't hit the rim either, so it wouldn't have mattered in either case. But I think that was a beautiful save initially by Duralia. We've seen some hustle plays out of her in this fourth quarter. Another steal by BC, and they'll have an uncontested take and finish there by Wallach, and we are all tied up at 38 with 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this one, so look out. We should be in for a good finish here tonight. Step back 3 and drains it. Taya DeMong as she re-energizes her squad there as they were up off the bench following that make. It's a 3-point ball game. Alberta leads BC, but British Columbia right back into this one after struggling mightily in that second quarter. You could argue both teams almost would have allowed for their opponent to get away, let this game get away in the first half as Clark gets another nice entry pass and finishes that off. 1-point game yet again, 41-40. Another turnover. Wallach holds it. Swings it over inside. Finish there by Duralia as BC now with their first lead of the second half, 42-41. Back and forth this game has been basically since the beginning here tonight. Playing with it inside there momentarily was Riddick. Missed there on the inside shot by Seguin. So back comes BC the other way with a 1-point lead. Duralia with it at the top. 3-pointer put up, won't go, but rebounded again by Duralia. She seems to be everywhere for her squad in this fourth quarter, but unable to connect with Deja Lee on the pass on the outside. So Alberta will get it back now, trailing by 1. They can retake the lead on this possession. Just an update from the other side of action here at UVic here tonight in the first women's semifinal in the U15 side of the Nationals. It's still Ontario leading BC 47-39 with 8.5 minutes to go. That game still seems like it's within reach, though, for BC. Shot clock running down, and they'll call a foul right at the death of that possession as DeMong went down. A lot of contact there, so can't dispute that call. So it'll be the first foul of the fourth quarter for either team. It's been quite a clean first 5 minutes here thus far, as it's going to be Alberta ball on the baseline, 14 seconds to shoot. Trailing by 1, 42-41. Nice job of working it inside. BC coach wanted traveling on that play. Instead, we'll see a turnover here, allowing BC to work the ball up the court. And there's a strong take to the hole by Wallach. She is fouled. And now Tara Wallach can go to the line and extend her team's lead with some foul shots. Birthed in the national championship game on the line here tonight. Several of these girls for British Columbia were on the U15 team last season that won the Nationals in Fredericton. They would love an opportunity to get back to the national championship game here on home soil in BC in the U17 tournament. Wallach unable to hit either foul shot, so it's still a 1-point game, 42-41. Alberta now with it, working it inside. Ball deflected, not able to hit the first shot there, and taken away now by British Columbia. It's Deja Lee getting it across half. Lee swings it back up to the top. Best with it. Looking for Clark inside, little low on the pass, however. Good defense applied by DeMong behind Griffin as well, or Clark, pardon me. So it'll be a 1-point game. Still when Alberta retakes possession here. Sub in for Team Alberta. And Nancy Palmer checks in. And we're going to have a timeout on the floor just about halfway through this final quarter of play. Just a 1-point game. BC leads Alberta 42-41. We'll take a break. Be back with you in a moment here from the U17 Women's Nationals at Carsa.
Coming this fall, UC's Canada's national grassroots basketball program, Junior NBA Youth Basketball. This program is for Canadian children aged 5 to 12 and is designed to develop fundamental skills, sportsmanship, and love for the game of basketball. For more information, visit basketball.ca.
Ryan Zatmary back here with you from the University of Victoria's Center for Athletics, Recreation, and Special Abilities. Ken and Kathy Shields court here. Obviously, Ken and Kathy Shields, remembered as two of the greatest coaches in men's and women's university basketball history here in Canada, and some great Canadian young women basketball players out on the court here this week. It's been a treat to be able to be involved in this tournament. As we have a great game brewing here between BC and Alberta down the stretch. There's a miss underneath there by Seguin that would have given Alberta the lead back. This is the first of two semifinals on the U17 side of the tournament here. Nice take and finish there as Seguin makes up for her miss a moment ago, taking the lead for her team, and will have a chance to make it a 2-point lead from the line. Alberta won 72-60 earlier on this week in the first matchup between these squads that allowed them for a bye through to the semifinals here. BC had to go through a very strong New Brunswick team and get a hard-fought 4-point victory yesterday to earn their spot in this game. This game will advance to the championship game tomorrow night here at Carsa. And they'll take on the winner of the game between Quebec and Saskatchewan to be played following the conclusion of this one here tonight. Just 3 seconds left on the shot clock here now, so BC will have to get a shot up quickly here. Ball in. Is unable to get the rim there as Duralia. She knew she had to get something up quickly and put up a bit of a circus shot there. So good defensive set for Alberta, who lead it by 2 and will take the ball back here now. Just over 4 minutes left in this one. Ball worked inside, and another nice pass by Demont as she's able to get it to her teammate Seguin, who's had some success in this second half. We haven't seen for Alberta in this second half, which surprises me, and I'm not sure if we've seen an injury, is Ejim, which has not been on the floor for the last several minutes. So I wonder if she's been dealing with some sort of an injury in this second half. But back the other way, there's a 3-pointer for Deja Lee, as she makes it a 1-point game once again, as these two teams continue to battle it out to the final minutes here tonight. Jump ball on the baseline. It'll stay Alberta ball. As I'm looking over at the Alberta bench, I see Ejim there on the end of the bench. Looks like she's looking at her hand, so I'm not sure if she sustained an injury to her finger or something in the second half, but she was phenomenal at points in the second quarter and early third tonight, and had an outstanding 27-point game for Alberta in their victory over BC on Wednesday. So obviously a major loss for Alberta if she's not able to come back into this one. Ball knocked away there, so it's 13 seconds to shoot for BC. 3:03 left in the game, down by 1, 46-45. Clark on the outside. And a entry pass inside. We'll see number 13, Tara Wallach fouled. Wallach's had a very good game tonight for BC. She's provided some big offensive moments, and she hits her foul shot there. So we're all even again at 46. Under 3 minutes left in this final quarter. Still very much up on the air who will represent one of the two spots in the championship game tomorrow afternoon. BC back up by 1 after Wallach makes both shots. Every possession critical now down the stretch. Nice floater there, finished by Cameron Declicker. As it's now a 48-47 lead for Alberta. And an offensive foul underneath there, and that's critical for multiple reasons, as that's a foul on Jess Clark, so I believe that's her 4th. She hadn't picked up one yet in this 4th quarter. She was left in after she picked up a 3rd late in the 3rd, and it didn't seem to hurt her team then, but now she has no room for error with 4 fouls on the floor. Nice take baseline. Obviously, Demong knowing that Clark could not pick up her 5th there, so had to play a little bit of token defense. So it's a 3-point lead for Alberta, 50-47, as they've gone on a 4-0 run since BC took the lead a minute ago. 2 players on Clark there, keeping the ball away from her, and that allows for an opening for a moment on Wallach, but a big block there by Seguin, who has stepped up in the absence of Ejim here in this second half tonight. And they're actually going to call a foul on that play. I missed that, so obviously the secondary official saw a foul from behind on that. So BC will go back to the line. Wallach not able to hit her first one here. But she can still make this just a 2-point game if she gets her second to go. Can't hit that one either, but it's rebounded there. BC with the ball back. Just 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Little space on the outside there by Lee. She wants to go inside, but it's stolen away there by Alberta. Big defensive stand there by Riddick to get the ball back unscathed on the second chance opportunity. Entry pass inside will be lost, so now BC gets it back, trailing it by 3 with 1:43 left in this 4th quarter. Spot in the championship game up for grabs between these two Western rivals. Got to get it across half. Just able to is Clark, as she nearly lost it in the backcourt. Lee kicked around. Wallach had it. Now up at the top to Griffin. And again, the entry pass on the inside is stolen away as BC has tried to force a couple passes on these last 2 possessions, and it's cost them. Alberta with the ball, trying to make this a multi-possession game, and that's going to be the 5th and eliminating foul on Jess Clark, as that will be it for her on that one, and that will send Hannah Riddick to the line. Tough break for British Columbia. And are they actually going to, okay, no, they're going to give that foul to Jenna Griffin from behind, so that'll allow Clark to remain in this game. So in a sense, despite the foul, BC has to be happy. And then there you have it. Riddick misses her first one from the line, so it's still just a 1-possession game. And now, obviously, if this one is missed, BC is going to really have to try and rebound to prevent a second chance, something that Alberta's done well at so far here tonight. But Riddick able to make her second foul shot, and we'll see a timeout called here by BC. Still a manageable deficit, 51-47. Alberta leads it. As these two teams have been battling back and forth tonight, it's been an excellent first semifinal here on the U17 side of the draw. As these two teams very much want to go on and represent the West in the championship game here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Again, please tune in on SportsCanada.TV for both gold medal games. We'll have the call on the U15 gold medal game at 3:45 Pacific time tomorrow, and then the U17 gold medal game to follow at approximately 6 p.m. as we will conclude the 2019 U15 and U17 Women's National Championships here tomorrow with a pair of gold medal games. And again, we're trying to keep you up to date on what's going on the other side at the U15 semis right now. And with about 2 minutes left in that one, looking like Ontario's U15 squad, good bet to head to the championship game now, up 15 points. So after a championship effort in last year's squad, many of the girls who were represented on this U17 team for BC, they will fall just a little bit short out west here this year on home soil, as a very strong Ontario team looks to book the first of the 2 spots in the U15 championship game, 3:45 Pacific time tomorrow, and New Brunswick and Quebec will be on deck with the second semi following that one. BC just able to get that ball in. They chose to advance the ball and take just 14 seconds on the shot clock. Down to 7 now. Lee with the baseline jumper won't fall. And they're going to say that ball was last touched by BC. So a 4-point lead and the ball with 55.9 seconds left. And now it'll be Alberta choosing to take a timeout. Now we'll see what Coach Wacknick decides to do. Again, you have an option of either moving the ball into the front court with only 14 seconds or keeping it in the back court with the full 24. If he wants to avoid a full court press, he may still move it forward. We'll see what he decides to do here in a moment, but we'll take a quick break on SportsCanada.TV. We'll be back with the final 55 seconds of this one in just a moment. Ryan Zatmery back with you here on SportsCanada.TV. Just under a minute left in the first semifinal of the U17 Women's National Championships here at UVic. It's a 51-47 lead for Alberta, and they will have the ball, and it looks like they will choose to advance it into the front court. And again, that will somewhat help British Columbia, as it'll only allow for a 14-second shot clock, so that means less time that Alberta can waste away on the game clock, but at the same time, BC is in desperate need of a stop here to still have a fighting chance. Ball worked around inside, and it's finished off on the inside, so it's now a 6-point game as a big second half effort by Mimi Seguin. Another basket for her as she replaced Yvonne Ejim, who was not seen on the court in these last several minutes. Take to the hole there, won't fall. Another rebound for Alberta, and it's looking as we have a jump ball there called, but it'll be Alberta ball. But with a 6-point lead in the ball now with 33 seconds left, it's looking more and more like Team Alberta may hang on and earn their spot in the final here tomorrow night. Another timeout being called by Dave Wacknick, and we'll see one more break. And we'll take a break here on SportsCanada.TV. Be back in a moment with you here at UVic. Ryan Zatmery back with you here on SportsCanada.TV. Team Alberta leads Team British Columbia 53-47. With just about 35 seconds left in the final quarter. They have the ball, chosen to advance it. They're out of timeouts now, BC with 1 left. But really there's no room for error now for BC. They basically need a quick steal here and to prevent Alberta from getting any more points if they're going to have what is already a pretty slim chance of coming back. They foul there that'll put Alberta into the bonus. So 2 shots coming now for Team Alberta as they look more and more likely like they will earn the first of 2 spots in tomorrow evening's championship game. And again, just a reminder to stick around. After this one here tonight, we'll have the second semifinal between Team Quebec and Team Saskatchewan. For the right to take on what looks like it'll be Alberta, but after missing both these foul shots, BC still with a fighter's chance. Got to put up a quick shot here, and Griffin chose not to take it right away. They got to get one quick here. No good. Follow shot is no good. There's the rebound and in, so 4-point game with 16 seconds left, and another foul here, so they're going to have to hope for some more missed foul shots down the stretch. But give British Columbia credit, they never gave up. They had a really tough first half of offense, putting up only 16 points. Mind you, Alberta had just the 21. Alberta only had 3 points in the first quarter, BC only 5 in the second, but this second half of action made up for what lacked on the offensive side in that first half. We had a very exciting final quarter here this evening between these two Western rivals, but looks as though it'll be Alberta who will get the better of BC yet again, unless BC can get a quick basket here. As a 3 is put up, that'll fall short, and now a foul with just 6 seconds to go. And it looks as though Team Alberta will advance to the championship game tomorrow night. And we'll see a substitute in now, and BC, despite the loss here tonight, will have another game to play, as they will take on the loser of the Saskatchewan-Quebec game at 1:30 tomorrow here at Carsa in the bronze medal game. So still a medal to play for British Columbia no matter what. Again, that game will take place at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. If you're interested in checking out Team BC's final game here this weekend. Very good effort, but they're going to fall just a little bit short here tonight as Team Alberta come up with the victory, 54-49, and they will advance to the championship match, the gold medal match tomorrow night in the U17 Women's Nationals, as they will take on the winner of the game between Quebec and Saskatchewan. That one is on deck here this evening in about half an hour's time, 8:15 Pacific time, as a hard-fought victory, a very tough first 10 minutes for Alberta, just 3 points scored, but after that they were able to find their rhythm. We didn't see their star, who had 27 points against BC the other night, Yvonne Ejim, in the latter part of that game. We'll try to find out what happened there, but some great performances by Taya Demong and Mimi Seguin in the second half helped book them into the championship game. I'm Ryan Zabmarie. Thanks again for joining us here on SportsCanada.TV. We'll take a break, and we will be back with the second semifinal here as we see the teams coming onto the court here in a moment. It'll be Saskatchewan and Quebec for the right to take on Alberta in the U17 gold medal match tomorrow night.